Greetings, welcome to KillCo Audio Musings for patrons and members and anyone who happens to come across this. It is November 1st, 2023. The real chaos can now begin as Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month is officially in swing, Halloween is over, and the rest of the year is just gonna slide by with me putting my head through all the chaos that this ensues, entitles, encourages. It's an N word. Anyway, stay on topic, Brian. Yes, the Pancreatic Cancer Fundraiser is now officially started. I'll be talking about it for the rest of this month. We're already halfway to the goal, which is what I started with last year. If you were around last year, the goal officially back then was $2,000, and then a bunch of you, who I know are patrons, helped us get to the goal of $4,000. So I have just started with $4,000 in the hopes that we can somehow pull that off again, maybe even go past it. I don't really know what to expect with the whiskey tube community or the whiskey people community overall. They tend to surprise me, and I do not mind. I just don't know how to deal with it. I don't know how to deal with the emotions well. I usually have to just wrangle them and keep them in check due to my stuff. So when really good things happen, it's hard to, it's not a bad thing. It's just, my brain doesn't quite work with it well. But it doesn't mean I don't want good things to happen. It's just when they do, it's like, wow, this can't be right. Something terrible is about to happen. I've done something wrong. I don't deserve any of this, that kind of thing. So we're off to a good start, and I look forward to doing the live streams, talking more about what's happening with my family. I can't really say looking forward to that because a lot of it is talking about the circumstances that my family are dealing with. But it is nice to have an objective, and it is nice to be able to give back to my family who have been supporting me for a very long time. I have never been a functional adult due to my health, or mental health specifically. And my parents especially have done all they can to help me in every way possible. Part of the reason I can even exercise and do the small group training I've been doing for the past year plus is thanks to them. And I don't say it enough that just being physically active 2 or 3 times a week has helped me in ways that I don't even realize. I have poor self-image. I think I always have, at least, teenage years. That's when it started. And really, if I look back at me in teenager years, I should have been like, well, if I had only exercised more, if I had actually been active and hadn't been chugging Mountain Dew and doing the marijuana and drinking lots of alcohol, well, we all know now I was self-medicating and it didn't work well. I'm just lucky to still be here. Right now, my thoughts are on getting out new content for the rest of the month. I have next week set, but the trend has been getting next week set and then just barely getting the next week out before the video that I'm saying is next week out next week. Did that make sense? There's an easier way to say that. So today, I finished the video for next week last night. So Tuesday night, I finished the video for next Wednesday. And that has been the recurring theme as of late ever since I got back from Texas. The plus is that I have more videos recorded, and the hard part is always editing. It's not that I don't have the time to do it, it's the management of my own well-being and my own capabilities. Since if I do something like last night where I edit and get a video completed, I then need at least a full day, simply not do much of anything to recuperate. And I say that knowing right now I am doing a podcast, but that's different. Editing this will be different. It's not as difficult, and I've been doing it for years for my dad. Audio is much easier to deal with than video. I'm working on a lineup for the bottles this month. I have a few selected, but I realized earlier today that I needed to get some kind of wild turkey in the mix, since, of course, we got Thanksgiving coming up next. That's the next big holiday, though everyone seems to just skip it now. It just goes Halloween and then everyone's about Christmas. It's a weird new norm. I blame The Nightmare Before Christmas since, that's all about Halloween and then Christmas. There's no Thanksgiving involved, even though there's a door for it in that movie. I almost forgot. Speaking of turkey, the whiskey in my hand tonight is Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit, picked by its bourbon night. It is really good. The plan is to get a Russell's 10-year before Thanksgiving. I can't really top the one I did last year, which was I think it was the Diamond Anniversary one. Yeah, still behind me. I know there are a bunch of other Wild Turkey releases out there, but I don't see them, and I know the price tag on those is ridiculous, so I feel that Diamond Anniversary was kind of a dumb luck situation. And really, I don't know where I would put them. I'm getting into the problem of not having enough space for everything. So the idea of new shelving and figuring that chaos out is prominent in my head. But knowing the weird slant that comes with my apartment building, I don't really know what I'm going to do about it. Just finding shelving that would work is all I'm after. Maybe seeing if I can find more of these plastic ones just to have something. The one off to my left could go up one more tier, and the one to my right could at least go up one or two more. I would then have to remove that poster I'm so used to having behind me, but the channel changes, and change can be a good thing. At the moment, there are 14 prizes that are listed for this giveaway. I'm very pleased that a lot of channels reached out, or I was able to talk to them and mention it, and they were very willing to donate some stuff to this. And if you have listened to most of these as patrons, there has been a change to podcasts. You can now listen to these actually on the YouTube channel. I don't know exactly why YouTube's doing that, but I'm all for it. My podcast stuff has been on Spotify for a little over a month now, almost 2 months. And having the option of this being on my channel is actually nice. It's nice to have it in one place rather than it felt like it was disconnected since Patreon changed the no lenses thing. So the only ones who would hear this, if they heard it at all, are patrons. And that would be if they had Spotify. So now in this regard, I can at least have this as a playlist on the channel, and I'm opening it up to now having patrons and members being able to listen to it if they choose to. Much like my videos, this podcast stuff is for myself. It is for me to help keep track of what's happened and what I plan to do going forward. The other big push, other than KillCo Whiskey Musings Family Fundraiser, Cancer Sucks, brilliant title by me, is of course December and the Advent Calendar, which I believe my mother did get the Advent Calendar recently. I still have to get it from her since I haven't seen her yet this week. God, it's all kinds of blurs together sometimes. Yeah, I honestly don't remember, and that's how my life is. 2 days into the week, and I think I saw her last week. I know she did meet up with me. It might have been over the weekend. I feel like it was, because I do not leave my apartment on the weekends, and I was pretty adamant about not wanting to go outside in my mind, but then she said she was going to stop by and we take a little walk, and she'd tell me something, and that something is that they did get a very generous donation from an anonymous donor, and I still don't know how to really tell this properly, because it's such a weird thing to wrestle with in my mind. Like, my parents could use the money, I could use the money, my brother could use it. All the support we can get would be good and would help. And yet with my family, and I always just think it's some kind of Irish descendant BS, where my mother tells me that they had gotten this anonymous donation, and then implies that I should try to take it off the fundraiser. And I immediately said, that is not how this works. I'm very pleased that they got a donation from a generous benefactor, anonymous benefactor, but that doesn't get added to what I'm trying to do. That was for them. That is their thing. That's what's going on with them. And they shouldn't feel the need to try to alter the goal because of their good fortune and because of the generosity of this random individual. And yet they implied that. My mother absolutely was implying that when she talked to me. And I think part of me just gets angry about that, is that they're so unwilling to receive help. It's the same kind of thing I feel in some way with my own mental health early on, is I didn't want to be treated differently. I didn't want to try, and I didn't want to think I needed help. I didn't want to have medication because I thought it would change who I am and all that kind of nonsense. So there's pushback, there's the stubbornness that is in my family. And this is something that a lot of people can relate to, is that you want to get by on your own. And that's something that's been pushed into our minds, at least in the States, the old, you can be what you want. You're free in America to do what you want and succeed. And all you have to do is work hard, and nose to the grindstone and such. Where I think it's apparent in the generation we live in, that's not how it works anymore. And I am fully in support of helping others in what ways I can, and receiving help also. You have to be open to that, because I think there are so many people who need help, and there are new ways in the current social norm that help can be rendered. GoFundMe specifically is the one that comes to mind with what I'm doing. Help is out there, and people want to help. And money and finances is the easy way to do that. For those who have more and want to help others. With that, I will get to editing this podcast. I'm glad to have had this past day off. So this Wednesday, I haven't really done a lot other than go to CVS, get a few things. I bought some discounted candy, because of course I did. And tomorrow I only have to exercise in the afternoon. Then we smack dab into Friday, and the real push for pancreatic cancer and KillCo Family Fundraiser will begin, since I will be doing live streams to bring more attention to that for most of the month. Maybe doing like alternate giveaways. That's what I'm thinking about, is, stuff through Venmo and PayPal for smaller prizes. Like, the usual thing I've been doing on my channel is to give samples out via raffles. So that's the thought. Because I want to keep that as a norm, but I also don't want to seem like I'm being... Here's that thing where I don't want to seem like I'm being greedy. Brian, you were trying to support yourself. Stop it. And more importantly, I want to share the whiskey with folk. I have too much still, and I'm happy to share what I have to those who want to try it. Well, there you have it, folks. As always, live long and prosper. Don't forget to be awesome, and I will see you out there.